This conference will now be recorded.
The first thing is, what is AWS? Simply, if you say, I'll put it in a very simple way. You need thousands of VMs today.
Correct.
You need thousands of VMs, and tomorrow you need 500 VMs.
Correct.
Okay, and a day after tomorrow, you need 1500 VMs. Okay, so in this capacity, let's say if you want to set up a VM in your local environment, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So how many capacity? How many in your company? So how much capacity you need for this?
Maybe multiple
1500. 1500.
Yeah.
That means capacity you should have, because you can go reduce less high, but this is the maximum capacity. Correct?
Correct.
So the question is very simple.
Okay.
What is AWS? So the requirement is also very simple. Today I need 500, tomorrow I need 1000, day after tomorrow. So what is the maximum capacity you will run your company with this many VMs? That means, let's say you are paying 1500 rupees for it. Here you are paying 500 rupees for it.
Yes.
And here you are paying 1000 rupees for it. Simple calculation I'm putting it, not complicating in the software engineering keywords. Okay. So now this is your maximum cost. What you have to pay for the infrastructure is 1500 rupees.
That's
but
right.
you know, average requirement is how much? 1000. Correct. So your average requirement is 1000, and you are paying 1500. That means your company loss is 500.
That's right.
So this is something which is a limitation with the private cloud. That means each company who set up the private cloud, this is the limitations. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So that is where the AWS is coming and saying, hey, don't worry about that. Okay, you can get the virtual machines on my platform. Simple. And you pay for what you use. Simple.
Correct.
So now here you can, on AWS, you can get thousands of VMs, and you pay only for those VMs which you are using. So if you are using 500, you will pay 500. If you use 1000, you will pay for 1000. So here AWS means Amazon Web Services. So here, so what web means? Amazon is a company name.
Correct.
Web is a website.
Yes.
And when you say services, means what services? So here, when you say services, means you want compute, you want storage. These are the primary ones. Okay, you want compute, you want storage. So we call it a VMs, and here we call it a storage, whatever you want. So AWS is the platform. You get many kind of things. So we call it IaaS. We say EaaS, and we call it a SaaS. What is this? So all these services you will get it. Infrastructure as a service you get. Infrastructure means these are the infrastructure.
Correct.
Platform as a service means runtime environment you get. You build your application and run it. Software as a service you get. Okay. So now you will see that what is the difference between IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So Ashwini, are you in this call, right?
Yes.
So if you have any questions, you can ask me. Okay.
Sure.
So you have to be in session till it's get over. So I'm going to ask a few questions at the end of it.
Okay.
Okay. So Ashwini is my niece actually. So I want him to be familiar with all this stuff.
Sure, sir. No problem.
Yeah. So, and Ashwini, you have to write end of these sessions. You have to write a blog also for this, whatever you are learning. Okay.
Okay.
Focus on this. So now here IaaS versus PaaS versus SaaS. So AWS provide all kind of services, all kind of services. So now if you see that here, what kind of services AWS will provide? See here. So here what is happening? On-site means companies hosting their own infrastructure.
Correct.
Okay. And IaaS means companies outsourcing and getting that, networking, storage, servers and virtualization from the AWS. When
Yes,
you
sir.
use some of the past services, then you have to you don't have to manage anything. Networking, storage, servers, visualizations, OS, runtime, everything AWS will give it to you. You come with your data and applications.
That's
Software
right.
as a service means everything they'll take care of it, AWS, and you only use their applications. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
here, to run any applications, you need all these things. Remember, to run your infrastructure, one website, you need network, you need storage, you need a server, you need a virtualization, you need a OS, you need a middleware, you need a runtime, you need a data, you need a application. So all these things you need it. Okay.
Yes.
So you decide whether you want to set up an entire data center for yourself or outsource that. So AWS provide everything. They provide IaaS, PaaS, SaaS. SaaS, one example, it can be Gmail. So Gmail is like a SaaS-based software. Do you really worry about Gmail, how it's running, where it's running? No, just log in and use it. Facebook, LinkedIn, these are the SaaS-based software. Platform as a service-based software, like you can say ServiceNow or Ariba or a SAP. SAP Lab is a platform as a service. So what they do, SAP Lab, they give a complete environment till runtime, and then you go on top of that SAP and you develop your application and use fill your data, whatever you want to do. But
Yes.
infrastructure, you have to take care of operating system also, middleware, runtime, data, and application. They will take care of the infrastructure, like some. Make sense?
Yes.
So this is the something AWS. AWS is a cloud-based service. It's a website. It's a place where you can get your own personal data center. Simple. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now the question is, you have one terminology which is called region, and then another terminology which is called it availability zone. So what is the region first? So AWS wants to offer, think simple logic. Okay. AWS
Mm-hmm.
wants to offer the data center services to the entire globe, every corner of the planet. So if they set up the one data center at only USA, then other people will not have a proper latency. Latency means speed. Correct? No?
Correct.
Yeah. So what they did, AWS set up a data center at the many regions actually. So you just click on this here and you see any one image you open up. These are the regions. So they have a data center in the multiple regions. Okay. So if you want to use in India, we have a Mumbai region. In USA, so many. Europe also so many. Okay. So these are the regions we have. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So these are the data centers, group of data center which is offered by AWS. Why they set it up everywhere? Because they want their customer to run application and which should be faster and close to their locations also. Make sense?
Yes.
Now the next question is availability zone. What is availability zone? So first thing, what is availability? Availability. Okay, so availability zones. What is this meaning? So let me draw pictures here. Or let me rather than Google it and availability zone. Okay, so very simple concept. So here, look at this here, this image or some simple image. This image. Just a second, let me put it up right. AWS availability zone, and this will. This is the nice image. So here, if you see that, how many regions we have in this picture? 2.
Two.
Okay. Now think about it. It's very simple logic actually. No need to use the complicated keywords, technical keywords. Very simple region, a simple keyword. Right now, let's say there is only one data center here in this region, and there is one data center here, and all of your 5 million people are using this data center, and 5 million people are using this data center. Now
Mm-hmm.
suddenly, you know what will happen? Earthquake will happen, tsunami will happen, right will happen, war will happen, bombing will happen. Everything is gone. Means Just imagine Zomato is running here and suddenly Zomato within a day, within a minute, it will get disappear. It's a problem, right?
Yes.
So what to do? What to do? Are you understanding, Ashwini?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, so I want
Yeah.
to be here till end of the session, okay? And focus on.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you a question also. So the logic is very simple. This is a region, and you can't have a one data center. Let's say I can't Zomato, I can run in one data center. So what AWS has done it, they said, okay, let's do one thing. Let's divide this region data center into the multiple part, 1, 2, minimum 2, maximum it can be 5, 6 also. Okay. So now the concept is very simple. Whenever you run your applications, you run one box here and one box here. And this data center, this region, this zone, and this zone will have a certain distance, maybe 5 kilometer, 10 kilometer or something like that.
Okay.
Getting my point? So this distance, why distance? Let's say this is gone. So still your application is here. Correct now?
Correct.
Simple backup, availability, high availability. That means 2. So you have to, so every region, what they do, they have a minimum of 2 and maximum of multiple 6, 7, 8, depends on. So here you can, when you run, let's say Zomato, when run their applications, so they have to run one box here also and one box here. Now let me tell you one very simple thing. These availability zone are in the same network actually. Remember, it's the same network. Okay, it's on same network. Here, this is connected through the LAN, but this is connected through the WAN. Now, what is LAN and what is WAN, Anshu?
Local area network and wireless.
Yes. So latency is between these regions is pretty high. Sorry, edges is pretty high. Okay.
Yes.
And but region is connected to the WAN.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense? So now you can have one instance here and you can have instance here, and these two can talk to each other without any interfaces using LAN. Make sense?
Yes.
Though it's a two different locations, okay, maybe distance 5, 10, 20, 30 kilometer, but this is considered as a LAN.
Yes, sir.
Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So that is called availability zone. So now you understood that what is AWS. So you can get IaaS, PaaS and SaaS services on cloud, on internet. Okay. And then conceptually region and availability zone. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now here in this session, I will teach you the fundamental foundation services. So now we'll say what is the foundation services. So you know what, in AWS, you have a more than 5,000 services. Yes, more than 5,000 services. Out of which I will hardly cover 20, 30, 20 plus and stuff like that. Why? And this is called foundation services. Without that, you cannot move to the any other services.
Okay, sir.
So in AWS, what has been done? You just name it. Entire IT has been set up. Are you CEO? Are you CTO? Are you developer? Are you developer? Are you IT guy? Are you security guy? Are you robotics? Are you software engineers? Are you AI guys? Artificial intelligence? Are you in the different domain and you have a services like that?
Yes, sir.
Make sense? But
Yes.
here I'm going to cover the foundation services. So AWS foundation services. Here. So now let's go for this. And here, look at this foundation services. These are the foundation services. Okay. That means without that, you cannot use AWS.
Okay.
Okay. So now I'll put it in a very simple way. What do you want from AWS? So you want the VM virtual machine.
Mm-hmm.
Simple. You got the virtual machines. You want networking to be set up for your data center at AWS, VPC. You want storage.
Yes.
You want security, and when you want to share your account with some other people,
Mm-hmm.
and multiple other applications. Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
So earlier I asked you to develop and earlier I asked you to create a VM in your laptop. So you created, right?
Correct.
So after that, I ask you to use the VM using Vagrant, correct?
Correct.
After that, I ask you to create a container and run application inside that, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, but you can also run application in the VM, which is we call it EC2. EC2
Okay.
means Elastic Cloud Compute. Compute means VM is represented as a compute. Okay. So these are the services. How do we get started? So here you get a 1-year trial period. Okay. So if you go for AWS free trial, just free tier, and here you get a one year trial period. Then that means you must be thinking, oh, am I getting 1 year trial period? Then that means I can do a hell lot of things in 1 year. Actually, it's not like. They are giving you the trial period to only those services which you cannot use for your production, but rather learning AWS. Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So don't dream about like you can do anything with it. That's the reason I taught you. You learn VM, virtual machines, and create in your laptop everything you do that. So what is free, what is not free? This URL, if you search for it, you will get it. So here 750 hours, some type you will get free. Remember again, whatever is free, it's only for learning AWS, not for running your applications. Mind you. Okay. So before using the AWS, you be careful about it. So you can start the trial period is for 1 year. Okay. You'll have to have a credit card for it, one email ID, and you can start the trial account for it. Okay. I have accounts where I'm going to use it. So I just logged in, and here I was already logged in, and now you see that ocean of services. This is the analytics services, integration services, blockchain service. Just read it. You know everything, you have it here. Whatever you can imagine, you have a service. Just like I just said, right? 5,000 services, you have it. These are the top level category. For example, if you want to go to the compute, which is the R, inside the compute also subcategories are. My focus area is EC2. EC2 inside also you have hundreds of services. Left side, you look at this. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Are you understanding? So don't try to learn everything because it's not possible. Focus on something what you want. So I came AWS. Why you came? I came so I can get a virtual machines. What kind of virtual machines? Linux virtual machines and Windows virtual machines. So question you should ask, okay, how can I create a VMs, which you call it EC2, Linux machine and Windows machine? And then next question you should ask, how to access. Got it? So these are the things you will next time you say, okay, I came AWS for storage. Okay, storage means I want the storage services. Storage means you want to store the data. Next you will say, I want the networking. Okay, next you will say, I want security services. Like that. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So let's focus first thing on how to create a VMs, different kind of VMs, and then use it. Because the moment you start using it, suddenly you will get comfortable with the UI, and slowly you will get a fear out of it. At least someone will say, hey, we are working on AWS. You will not have a fear saying that, okay, what is AWS, how to log in, what to do, all these things, blah, 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 will not come. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any questions, Anshul?
No, sir. I'm good.
Ashwini?
No.
Okay, so how to get VM? So here I'm creating a VMs. So EC2 dashboard, so many options are there. Don't get lost. Launch instance. I'll share the recordings. You can go through that. Now here, this UI, what you see, don't get scared. Too many options are there. But this UI you see is a latest UI actually. So I'm also not very comfortable with the latest UI, though I can work it, I can make it, I can use it without any issues, but actually I'm not comfortable when it comes my explanation. Okay, so I'll go for opt out for the old experience.
Okay.
So now when I go for the old experience, then here these are the options to create a VM. Okay, so now you tell me, Anshu, when you create a VMs, what are the prerequisites you have?
Naming convention, uh, type of OS you need, type amount of storage and hard RAM you need,
Correct.
networking.
Okay, good. So Ashwini, have you created any VM?
Right now, I'm didn't create any VMs.
Why? I asked you 6 months back only, right?
No, that was I was busy in programming. That's why.
Okay, so now any VMs you create, see, I am having so many VMs. Let me show you. Everything I do through the VM. I don't waste money on AWS, but yeah, it's important to you to know the concept of VM. See, these many VMs I've created. So any environment also I need, I don't depend on someone else. I create my own. Okay, so I don't install anything in my laptop. I have everything in my VMs only.
Virtual
Okay,
machine.
so now, yeah, virtual machines. So same thing, you can get it here. So first thing, you need a ISO image, correct?
Correct.
For so that we call it in AWS AMI. Okay, then you decide how much CPU and RAM you want, correct? No?
Yes, sir.
So that you define instance type. And then here you configure some of the networking options, and here you add a storage of it. Here you want to tag this, and here security groups is equal to network firewall. Mind it, I said, see, there is a two kind of firewall. One is a network firewall, and one is a, just a second. So here OS has a two kind of firewall. One is a network firewall and one is a OS firewall.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so network firewall and OS firewall. So now the question is, what is an OS firewall? What is a network firewall?
OS network firewall in the sense accessing between two systems, whether the system can be accessed from outside or from within your network.
So see, OS firewall means, see, I'll show you this simple way. Don't get lost. This is my firewall, OS level.
Correct.
And network firewall, which is apply on your router you have in house, right?
Yes.
Router. There, if you log into router, so there you will get a firewall, network firewall. So when you configure anything at the network firewall, no matter how many machines you are connected to that Wi-Fi or whatever, you will have that implications. Make sense?
Yes. Yes, sir.
So now the coming back to the point, what is this security group? Security group is a network firewall. Okay, mind it. Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so good. So here these are the options I select and do it. Don't worry, I'll give you the step-by-step also blog and recordings anyways you have. So here I'll select the AMI, what you want. So I'll go for Ubuntu machines here. So Ubuntu server 22, select this 64-bit. Okay, you will go a little slow, and here you will decide the CPU and RAM. You will read each and every options, and then you will do that. And next, how many instances you want? One. You can
One.
say 1,000 also, but you have to pay for it.
Correct.
So only one. And here some of the network setups. Right now everything is set as a default. Don't worry about none of this. You need to select. And next, how much storage you want for this VM? 8 GB default. If you want to tag it, just give the name Linux. Okay, and security groups. It's a network firewall. So here setting up network firewall. I have so many firewall. You can create a new one also. So here I'll create one new one. Anshu Ashwani. Okay, so here I created network firewall, and here you can open and close the port. Remember, security group is a network firewall where you can open a port and close the port. By default it is 22 because it was 22, it was Linux VM. Okay, review whole things together and launch it. Now how do you access the AWS EC2 instance? That means how do you access the VM on AWS? So they don't give you the password. What they give it to you? Key. So you have to choose the existing key, or you have to create a new key pair. And this new key pair also I'll name it same thing, so I'll not get confused. You have to download this key pair, private key, otherwise it will not allow you to go further. That means the VM's security access only you have, even AWS is not having that access. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So this is the way I created one Linux VM, and this is the one which is pending. So I will follow one more same step, and I'll create Windows VM this time. So go for the Windows machine, which is here, 2019. I'll go for it. I'll select the little bit more CPU and RAM. Only one machine is needed. 30 GB hard disk default. I'll go with that. Here I'll just name it Windows. This is the VM you are creating. That's all. Nothing. The same thing you were doing through the virtual box. And what is the security group I created? Security
Ashwini
group.
and Ashwini.
First one here. Review. And here there is a warning. Why this warning is there?
Because this is a Windows server and they need 3389 as RDP port.
Correct. In the network security group. Okay. So here this is not open, so I'll open up again later on also. So I'll create it. Launch, and Ashwini selected, launch. So see that within a few seconds, I wanted to have 2 VMs, or maybe I wanted to have 200 VMs. I can get it. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So now that is I got the access of VMs. Now the next question is, how can I access? How to access? So I think I have given you one videos on how to access Linux, correct?
Correct.
And in that it was said password also you can access, and keys also. So AWS has given me a key. Okay. So this is the key they have given it to me. This is the PEM file. Okay. They have a PM. This is a private file. So if you are using through SSH, you can use the PM file, or if you are using the putty and all, then you have to convert it into PPK file. Okay. You don't have a password right now, though you can enable the password. So now I'll refresh this, and here I've got the one machine Linux, one machine Windows. So can I access here? So now you get a public IP and private IP. Now the question is, why we get a public IP and private IP? Okay, so you need to understand why do we get it. So understand that very simple logic. This is the AWS network. And this is somewhere you are in Bangalore. Okay. Now this is the AWS network, and your VM is here. Correct?
Correct.
VM has IP address, real IP address. So actually, if you are inside AWS, you can access this VM correctly. For example, let's say you are in home right now, and you are running 5 laptops. So each laptop is accessible to each other. Correct? Correct? No?
That's right.
But it's not accessible for outside. That is what it happens in AWS also. In AWS, you have one network. On this, you created a VM, and that is accessible from the inside AWS, but it's not accessible from outside. I cannot access because scope of the networking is not done. So what to do? See, so AWS is giving me VM, but I cannot access. What is the use of it? Then AWS said, do one thing. I'll give you one public IP address, free IP address. Okay, and the scope of this IP address will be global. That means whenever you hit to this public IP address, I will do nothing but redirect all the traffic to the private IP address, and you will have a no complexity to access this VM. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So this public IP address is basically a routing IP address. This is something which you did in port forwarding you did in the Docker also last class.
Correct.
To access the container from outside, -p we used, right? But this is at the global level they are doing it. Make sense? So here, every time when you create an instance, you get a private IP address, public IP address, and private IP address. Private IP address is a real IP address. Public IP address, which is accessible, which is given free of cost to you, so you can access from anywhere in the world, and this traffic will be transferred to the private IP address. Make sense?
Yeah.
So this is where. So I'll use not a private because I cannot access from outside. I'll use the public. So I'll go to the download folder, and here this is here it is a what do you say, private key. I'll open up any console, SSH console and all. So I'll use something like
we can use
bash. Okay, yeah. So putty also you can use, but you have to convert into the PM to PPK. Okay, so first I'll access this. And see this, I'm in the download right now. SSH-I and show. and username I know that for Ubuntu itself @ of IP address. I made a mistake. I did not copy. My git bash is little slow. And why is it doing like this? Enter. So now I just enter. It will ask me, are you sure you want to connect? Yes. And right now I'm in the VM. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want in this VM. Okay. So now,
where did you get that Ubuntu from? I mean, what is that?
username.
Where did you give it? I mean, like we did not see it, right? So where did you give the name from?
Which one? Name Ubuntu.
Yeah.
Okay. So username will be set by AMI only. Okay. Default user. So when you click on this and click on this connect, they'll tell you that username. So here, see username Ubuntu.
Okay.
Okay. So that I knew that. So I used it.
Okay.
Okay. Now this is how you can log in. Now what I'll do, I'll install some software. So apt get install http apache 2. I'm web server, I'm installing it. So I need a sudo, right? So sudo, yes, I'm installing in the VM of hosted by AWS. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Ashwini, are you understanding?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I install this one Apache server here. Okay, this is a command to do that in Ubuntu. And after that, what I want to do? I want to start this systemctl start Apache 2.
Two.
Now, okay, sorry, I have to use sudo because these all are sudo required or will become a root. Okay, so I did the sudo. Now, can I check the status of this service?
System.
And here you see it's running. Now, can I access? Can I access from outside? So see why I'm not able to access? Because security groups is only allowing 80 port, no?
Yes.
So what I have to do? I have to go to the security group, and this is a security group. Okay, it's a UI, and little bit get comfortable. This is the security group. Inbound, outbound. Outbound I don't have to touch. Inbound I have to create, edit, and here SSH only allowed, and add what? HTTP protocol, which is network level, 80
88.
from web everywhere. Okay, and save it. I allowed now networking from outside. See. So this is the way you can do whatever you want in the VMs and access it from outside. So same thing what you can do on AWS, you can do in your VMs also, and so on. Now I can also enable the password also. Password is disabled by default. So what to do? So here sudo vi, I know the files I'm hitting directly. Okay, etc sshd ssh the file, this is the file, and in this file, because you are connecting to the Linux using SSH, so any configurations you do on SSHD file if you know. So what you want, I know that place where I'm going to make it entry, password authentication, yes, save it, restart the services, others will not be taken, restart SSHD. I always forget the sudo because I always work in the root. Okay, so here restart the services, and after that set the password paswd and enter. What is the password? Rajesh 123. What is this? Okay, authentication is not allowed actually. I mean, my password is not allowed. Why? Because you have to set the strong password. So I will do one thing. I'm not going to set the strong password. I'll do with the sudo. So here, whatever I'll set, it will be allowed using sudo. Rajesh 123. Now I will, now because I set it up everything, go to the dashboard, go to the running, go to this one, and now I can access putty also. Go to the putty.
Using the username and the password, right?
Yes, now you can use this one also and open up accept Ubuntu Rajesh 123, and I'm getting into the system. It's not allowed. Just again. RAJSH 123. Okay, my bad. I have not set the password for 12 but root. Okay, just a second. Rajesh 123, Rajesh 123, and now Rajesh 123, and got it. So
Previously you
right
said
now I
previously you
set
said
it for the
root.
root actually. Okay, so this is the way you can get it. Now next question is, okay, fine, I got this access on Linux. What about Windows? So Windows don't work with SSH certificate and SSH and all. Okay, so what to do with Windows? So Windows, I will have to set the password. How? So click on the connect and go for RDP session, RDP client, and here you see the get password. Slowly you will get familiar with it, and for you, in your case, you have to read it. Okay, Ashwini, hello.
Yeah.
I'll give you one username and password which you can try. Okay, and do all this stuff. Okay, so session manager,
Sure.
RDP client, and get password and browse, download. I'm generating a password using the key. This is the key. Decrypt the password. And now this is your username and this is your password. What to do? RDP, remote desktop SSH for Linux, RDP for Windows, RDP. This is the remote desktop connections. What is IP address? I can use the DNS name also instead of IP address. And connect. What is username? It's not prompting. What is the problem actually?
You did not open the port 3389.
Wonderful. I did not open the port for that. So remember that all the time. So go to open up a new window and go to the instance of Windows. This is the Windows. And finally, I'll go to the security group here. This is the click on the security group. And here inbound, edit the inbound rules. And here add this WinRM RDP here. And from everywhere, save it. Done. And now I think it should be allowed. See here.
Yeah.
And now what is your username? Username is
Administrator.
administrator, and password I'll just copy paste. Sorry, I did not paste the password. Yeah. And then yes. And this is your Windows. Do whatever you want in Windows. So basically this Windows and Linux is hosted by AWS, and you do whatever you want. The way you want to run application, you run it. Accessible to whole world. How many you want? 500, 1000, 1000 machines? You can get it. And you pay for what you use it. Charges applied per hour basis for compute. Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
So this is something which is AWS EC2 instance. Now what to do? After the use, remember that charges get applied per hour. Even though if you run for 5 minutes, it will apply for 1 hour. So what you should do after the use, this is the Windows and this Linux, after the use, what you should do, either shut down. So these are the two machines, either stop. So when you stop, you don't pay for the compute. Only you pay for the storage, 8 GB and 30 GB. But
Yes.
if you terminate, remember, if you terminate, then you lose the data forever. Everything is permanent loss. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
When you stop, you can start. You can reboot also. But terminate means permanent loss. So remember that my work is done. Okay, whatever I wanted to show you, work is done. Okay, and this is the compute services on AWS and terminate. You have to use it. If you want to use it, you can run any applications and all stuff like that. Do whatever you want. And where is that? And just a second. where I was. So here terminate and done. Did you understand that, all of you?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Okay. So this
Yes.
is a compute services. Slowly you will get comfortable with this, because I told you, don't get lost. 5,000 services. Slowly you'll get used to it. Running instance, dedicated host, elastic IP instances, load balancers, so many things we have. So then don't get lost. Slowly you will get used to it. Okay. Any
Okay, sir.
questions?
Nope.
Okay, let me stop the recording.